Selective cutting is the removal of the best trees and leaving the rest to stand in an environment. Some of the steps include marking up the trees, calculating which trees to keep, and then determining which ones to cut down. It occurs frequently because of the high profit incentives associated with the practice, and heavy machinery is used in the process, and that requires a lot of fossil fuels to fuel the machines that do the cutting. The secondary source that we used was from EOS Data Analytics and their article about selective logging. Some of the products that are used to perform the selective cutting are things like fertilizers, preservatives, transport vehicles, among other things.
Some of the advantages include how this practice directly impacts the environment, which includes it maintaining the health of the forest. It can improve the carbon sequestration, and it is more beneficial to the forest than traditional logging is. It also has indirect impacts, including it allows for regrowth after the logging is completed. It prevents weaker trees from taking away space from healthier trees, and it allows for a more constant flow of timber, which makes it more profitable than clear cutting. It also helps to reduce the amount of soil erosion compared to clear cutting. This is used in forests throughout the world, and it only removes trees that are considered the best timber. And some other impacts and responses from the community is that people prefer selective logging because it preserves the forest rather than removes healthy trees.
Selective cutting directly and indirectly impacts the ecosystem. Selective cutting can harm wildlife habitats, cause soil erosion, and change water flow. It may also slow forest regeneration and reduce carbon absorption. Proper management is needed to minimize these impacts. Selective cutting is used in North America, Europe, Russia, Brazil, Indonesia, Malaysia, New Zealand, and parts of Russia.
The community does feel some disadvantages about selective cutting. Selective cutting is still chopping down trees, which is viewed by a lot of people as negative. This can impact the community members' quality of life by decreasing the aesthetic appeal of their forests and places around where they live.
Selective cutting is significantly more sustainable than the alternative, which is clear cutting, because it preserves a lot more of the forest's natural structure. When you clear cut, you don't remove all the vegetation in the area. So it's able to maintain the natural structure of the forest and not be too invasive on the ecosystem. Additionally, it preserves biodiversity in the ecosystem because instead of cutting away all of the trees, it leaves many of the trees still intact, which leaves a variety of species and vegetation able to thrive in the ecosystem. It allows for a healthier regrowth of the ecosystem after the cutting is finished, because all the species do not get wiped out. This allows the ecosystem to be able to retain its original strength and go back to how it was before. It also allows for a more constant flow of timber as opposed to a single burst of a large amount. When you clear cut, you remove all of the trees in the area, which gives you a large amount of trees to begin with, but then afterwards, there's not really much you can do with it afterwards. But when you selective cut, you're able to have a more constant flow of timber, as sporadically you chop down various amounts of timber. Additionally, it maintains a variety of tree types, species, sizes, and ages, etc., throughout the logging of the ecosystem. So overall, it's significantly less intrusive than clear cutting and provides a much more sustainable alternative that can be used to maintain the overall structure and strength of an ecosystem.